Afternoon.
January 15th, 2020. You get assigned this case, right?
Yes.
You very quickly are able to develop a print that ties back to a firearm that was not used in the commission of this crime. Agree?
Yes, the day after the incident.
And that fingerprint was from my client.
Yes.
At that point in time, you'd agree that you start looking at Hakeem Robinson.
Yes.
You didn't know him before that.
No.
You didn't know of Ksoo.
No.
And you start looking at him.
Yes.
You as an officer, you would agree that you have to objectively investigate cases, right?
Yes.
Now, at that point in time, you already knew that Dominique Barner was involved to some extent, right?
Perhaps given the burglary incident.
What was the first warrant that you issued in this case?
For the car?
I'm asking you, you get that big binder in front of you, the very first warrant. Now, to explain for the jury, when you want to collect evidence, there's something out there that you want to get. You have a judge sign a warrant, you type up an affidavit with the information for why you believe that it's relevant, and then you send it out and you get the items back, right?
That's correct.
Very first warrant that you do in this case has nothing to do with Dominique Barner, right?
No, not at that time.
It was for my client's Instagram account.
That was not the first warrant. The first warrant was for the car.
So you do remember now.
Just...
On February 5th, 2020, the first suspect that you send a warrant out for, to collect information, not about a car, but to collect information, not to search the vehicle that we're not contesting here, was to collect records from my client's Instagram account, correct?
With respect to the question you asked, the first question you asked was...
Just answer this question now, please.
I am answering your question, but I'm going to basically say what I got to say. You asked me what the first warrant I got was. It was for the car. So then you asked what the first suspect information I got was. Yes, it was for Mr. Robinson.
And we'll go back even further because I was talking about Dominique Barner. You didn't get a search warrant for any of his items, and you knew he was involved.
Not at that time.
Wasn't until months later. Right?
Right.
At that point in time, days after this happens, you're focused on Hakeem Robinson.
Yes, because I have the fingerprint in the car from the gun.
Now, you didn't have a fingerprint in the car. You had a fingerprint on a gun that was in the car.
Again, I said from the gun that was in the car.
Understand. Now, you've watched the entire Bang It Out music video, right?
Yes.
There's firearms throughout that, right?
Correct.
In fact, the one that the government is trying to say may or may not have been the one that was used in the homicide, it's held by a bunch of different people.
Correct.
You have no way of saying that the fingerprint on the gun that was found inside of the car was left on that gun even remotely close to January 15th, right?
No way, no.
Now let's talk about your investigation. Of course, you're shaking your head. I don't know if you had something to add. Okay. In your investigation, of course, you speak to the eyewitnesses, right?
Yes.
There was a young kid working at Hibbett Sports, pretty much right next door to where the murder happened. Jarvis Roberts, did you speak to him?
No, my partner did.
Okay, but you as the lead, when one of your colleagues speaks to somebody, that information, all the information goes to you, right?
Eventually, yes.
And you combine that into your reports because you are the lead, right?
That's correct.
Jarvis Roberts, and I'm not going to ask you for what he said, but he gave a description of who he saw.
Without going to Detective Dishman's report, I can't exactly say what the report said.
In January of 2020, you authored a 59-page report that included all the reports of your colleagues, right?
Only the officers who did major case addendums.
There was also somebody else. There was a guy, Michael Williams. He was working out at the Baileys. He was on a Stairmaster. One of your colleagues spoke to him as well, too, right?
I believe I spoke to him.
And he gave a description of what he saw.
He did.
Now, we're talking about witnesses and who may have seen something. Abir Ahmad, who was a homeowner west of where the car crashed. We're not talking about the shooting, but the car crashes 2 run eastbound, 1 runs westbound. She lives in that westbound direction, correct?
I believe so.
And she saw somebody walking through her backyard. Correct? I'm not going to ask you for her words, but she saw something, right?
I know she witnessed some part of it, but I don't have it in front of me to tell you exactly what.
All right, and again, we're just talking about people that I'm not asking you for their statements. One of your colleagues spoke to her, right?
Correct?
And they got what she gave as a description of what she saw.
Correct?
Renata Boston, right? Another witness.
Yes.
She saw somebody, correct?
Yes.
You got those descriptions.
Yes.
So, you're doing your investigation. You've seen the dash cam video by this point, right?
At what point is this?
Before the arrest of my client.
Yes.
All right. You have the dash cam video. It shows what it shows. You have these civilian witnesses that you've spoken to, and there was many more civilian witnesses, right?
Yes.
There was somebody that was pumping gas that could see, right?
Without telling you a specific name, I know there was one person I spoke to that was at the gas station.
So you had unbiased eyewitnesses, no connection to this case, not being prosecuted, give you a description of what they saw.
Yes.
And as you're investigating, Hakeem, you haven't met him before.
No.
You have a description on what the shooter was like, and on the day that he comes into the station, was ultimately arrested, you met him for the first time, right?
Yes.
And you were surprised by how big he was.
Like his weight, yeah.
No, you were surprised with how big he was, height and weight.
I'd say weight. He looks a little skinnier on Instagram back then, from my recollection.
Would it refresh your recollection to see your reaction in the interrogation video?
No, again, I said there was the weight that kind of threw me off.
The day that you met with him, and this is for impeachment, the day that you met with him, there was a recording device in the interview room, correct?
Correct.
And at one point in time, he went out to go to the bathroom, right?
Without watching it, I don't remember.
And you walked back into the interview room, and he was in front of you.
Okay. I don't understand.